It's Tuesday. The word for you today. Hope you're having a good day, good start to it, or having a good day. Our lesson today is 5 leadership issues you must deal with. Our scripture passage comes out of 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 21. It says, "So Elisha left him and went back. He took his yoke of oxen and slaughtered them. He burned his plowing equipment to cook the meat and gave it to the people, and they ate. Then he set out to follow Elijah and became his attendant." Our devotional has some really good leadership issues it talks about, five of them. The scripture passage, I'm not quite sure how it relates. So you've got the leadership issues in your devotion. You can look at those. Let's talk about this Bible verse here. Elijah has been God's prophet. He's discouraged to the point of death. He said, "God, I'm the only one you have left." God says, No, you're not. He said, "I have 7,000 that have not bowed their knee before Baal." But God knew that Elijah needed help. So what did he do? He brings somebody alongside him, and that's Elisha. God brought Elijah to Elisha and said, "Okay, come, follow me." And so Elisha took his yoke of oxen. He took the oxen and he slaughtered them, and they had a big barbecue for all the workers. And he used the farm implements, the harnesses and everything, he used those to roast the meat. There's no going back. He has just eaten and burned up his tools. So there's no going back. He's going with Elisha now. So sometimes God brings people into our lives to help us. Sometimes we're down, we're discouraged, and God brings that person into our life that just encourages us and picks us up. Maybe you're that person for somebody else. So the second thing God will do, besides bringing somebody into our lives, is he helps that person to sacrifice to help. Elisha slaughtered those 12 oxen and had a barbecue. They had a good time. But I'll tell you what, when he got done, he didn't have any tools anymore. It cost him. When he ate those oxen, had that party, burned up his tools, there was no going back. That was a huge sacrifice. He could have sold those oxen probably for a lot of money, but he didn't. Instead, he had, following Elijah cost Elisha something. And then we need to remember we're made for relationships. We need someone to talk to listen to. We need somebody to love. And that's why God sent Elisha to Elijah. Because he knew Elijah was discouraged. He needed somebody. Many times we get in trouble emotionally because we're by ourselves and we think too much. Our mind starts going here and here and here and here. And we just think too much. And if we have somebody to talk to, it doesn't change the situation. But somehow, just talking to somebody makes a difference. And God sends people into our lives. Let me ask you, who is God sent into your life? Who's that person that when you're at the end of your rope that you talk to? Who is that person? Let me ask another question. Are you that person for someone else? There was a young lady named Catherine. She and a friend of hers went to South America, Central and South America, on a trip. They did some mission work, they traveled, they saw things, and they were having a wonderful time. A bunch of them and their friends and them went to this beach in Ecuador. It's a beautiful day. She was out swimming in the ocean, and she noticed that this speedboat was coming towards her. She was out quite a ways. She noticed the speedboat was coming towards her, and she could see the speedboat didn't see her. He didn't see her in the water. And so she decided she needed to dive under the water because it was coming straight at her to get under the boat. And so she dove underneath, but a little too late. The propeller ripped into her back. She could tell she'd been hit hard. Speedboat went on. They didn't even know they'd hit her. But there were a couple of guys on the beach that saw what was happening, and they ran and started swimming out to her. Well, they got to her and brought her on shore, and they took her to a tent there where she was kind of washed up and kind of sewed up the best that could be done in that situation. And then she was taken by Jeep several hours to another location where they could take better care of her. And you had these two Ethiopians, these two Ecuadorians that saw her get hurt, and they didn't even know her. They jumped in and helped her. Then she had these people in a Jeep that drove hours and hours to take her to another place where she could receive more medical care. And as she called back home and let her parents know what happened, word began to get around what had happened. And people in the United States and other places contacted their Christian friends in Ecuador where they were. And their friends then went and visited her. A retired missionary doctor stopped in every day to check on her. People sent letters, emails, flowers, and gifts. Here's a young lady who's in a foreign country. She's seriously hurt. And she is showered with help from people that she doesn't even know. She talked to her parents. She said, their parents said, that's the church. That's the church at work. And that's what God does. He brings people. God brought Elisha to Elijah to encourage him. God sent all these people to help Catherine, this young lady who was injured. And you know what? God will send people to you and me, and He wants to send us to somebody. So today, I don't know what's going on in your life, but would you just be open to, if God put somebody in your mind, in your heart, that may need an encouraging word, just may need somebody to smile, somebody just to be good to them, Lord. Would you think about that and give them a call and talk to them? And be that person, be that Elisha for somebody. Have a good day.